All right, everybody, welcome back to First Attack. I'm James Chen. This is Henry. We're doing Guilty Gear Basics. We just finished going over all of the movement options and all of the buttons, and so now we're going to go into a little bit more of the complicated stuff.
Yeah, and just so you know that there's a link to the documents that we're using to kind of follow along in the title. So if you guys want to take a look,
hopefully
we'll paste it.
For if you're watching this on YouTube, we'll try to get that into the section down below. So you should be able to have that over there. So, okay. So let's see here. Let's talk about what do we want to cover?
So the button combination stuff.
Yeah, button combination. So, let's talk about the super meter real quick.
Okay,
let's just talk about how the super meter works. So, like I said, when you start, you basically start with no super meter here. But as you play the game, you see it builds up. It starts off purple like that, turns green once it fills 25%. Then it turns reddish orange at 50%. And then you keep going, and then it turns really dark red at 75%, and then once it's actually full, it turns gold. So anytime you look down at your meter, you'll know exactly how much you have based on the color of it, which is a really nice thing that they did. But there's a significance to all the different levels, because obviously you can do different kinds of things, and we'll get to each one of those one by one as we go. However, this game has a really unique meter building system in that it really rewards offense.
Oh yeah.
So watch this. I'm just gonna dash and start running forward, and look at both of us. We're just gaining meter as we run forward. So as long as you run forward, you gain meter. Right? And if I actually get any hits over here, I start building meter as well, meter pretty fast and such.
Yeah, and there's some kind of factor of like how your propensity to gain meter. Like there's like I think it's that pulse that comes out. Like it might I forget how it indicates it.
Okay.
But there's a way there's certain things that you do that like when you do moves it'll make the meter gain more than it normally is.
Oh, interesting.
So,
okay. So during
I know like when you do instant blocking it'll raise that kind of propensity and things like that.
It's going faster.
Yeah, that's the little wave on it starts going faster.
Dude, so. I don't think I've ever noticed that before.
Yeah,
that's
I mean
really
you
cool.
don't really pay attention to it, but you just know that you're gonna gain meter for doing certain things faster.
Okay.
So and then certain things, because I was reading up some of the system mechanics before I came over.
Right. Okay.
So that's one of the factors that kind of help you with gaining meter.
Nice.
And then there's also the fact that when you do certain moves or specials, like you'll make it so that you lose your meter propensity too. So if you do like certain things, like it'll make you gain meter much slower because you use these kind of types of moves. So, but those are really smaller details, honestly, and I don't think we'll talk about that really. But just know that
it's good to know. It's good to know.
There.
Yeah, it's good to know.
It's there.
Okay, so also another thing too that's really important is the concept of negative penalty, right? So if you walk backwards, backdash a lot, or air dash backwards, basically just play really lame, you'll see a negative. Okay, we did that super fast.
Yeah.
So basically, so like I have some meter right now, right? So if I actually start playing a little bit, like walk back a little and instant air dash back a little, and just generally play very defensive and backdash a lot, you see how it says danger down there? It's basically warning you you're playing too defensive.
Yeah.
And if you keep playing too defensive, the negative penalty kicks in and you lose all your meter.
Yeah.
And meter is very important in this game.
It's huge, but
huge. Yes.
But obviously, it doesn't mean that like you're always supposed to go in. If there's a situation where you want to just zone them out, just take the negative penalty and just win the match. And
I do think some characters are more prone to it than others, aren't
probably.
they?
I would imagine like Potemkin doesn't get it as badly.
Yeah, I don't think Axel gets it as badly either. But in general, I mean, if you just play in general, you're not going to see it too much. And if you see the danger, if you just walk back and forth like this, you're not going to get any danger. See, it's fine. Like the game's not like you're being way too defensive.
Yeah, I mean you have to backdash and do a lot of going backwards in order to get that negative penalty.
There goes all my meter. So yeah, so that's actually really nice. So yeah, if you do get trapped in the corner and you're blocking a lot and you're holding down back, that's not going to give you danger or negative penalty because
the movement backwards is what it does.
Because you're stuck. And they don't want to take away your meter, because if they take away your meter while you were blocking, this game would be impossible. Because you really need your meter to get out of the corner in that situation. So, but in general, if you do a lot of backwards motions, you get the danger to pop up. There it is. Yeah. And so if I just start running forward, I should be fine now. So danger should be gone. See, so now I can back down. Oh, no, it's there. So there's like a meter in the back that's kind of like filling and going up and down and up and down. And so that's just generally how that works. So don't try to run away too much. Otherwise you're gonna, like, for example, like, let's say I'm turtling and you chase after me, for example, and I super jump and I go away and I keep doing this, that's gonna kill my meter like instantaneously. So most of the time you want to at least be pseudo aggressive, or just space out your back dashes a little more so you don't do it that often. So yeah. Okay, so that's the important thing about the meter. So let's start talking about a lot of different ways to use the meter here. Actually, let's not just go over how to use the meter. Let's just talk about like the options, and since so many things use meter, we'll just tell you how much they cost.
Yeah, just kind of tell it as it goes along. So.
Yeah.
So I guess we got the Roman cancels.
Yeah.
Probably the biggest the thing that sets Guilty Gear apart from like a bunch of the other fighting games.
Roman cancels are one of the most versatile systems in the game. Now, in one of the execution episodes, I go over in great detail how all the different Roman cancels work, but we'll just do it again here because I really want to make sure that this is explained properly. Roman cancels are basically, think of them like in Street Fighter FADC, except you don't need to dash.
Yeah, you're free to do whatever you want.
Yeah, so if I hit you with heavy slash and I Roman cancel, I can do whatever I want now. I can hit you, and I can hit you again and combo. Basically, you just reset yourself back to neutral. And that's what a Roman cancel does. Back to neutral. Boom, back to neutral, right? Now, this is new to Xrd. When you Roman cancel, you'll also notice the game slows down a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's actually new. So whenever you Roman cancel, there's a slowdown period.
Yeah, even you can see me jumping, like... It's still slow.
So this actually leads to new combos too. So for example, if I do this, like, don't just get hit by this. If I do this, oh shoot.
I can counter hit, right?
I think I can do just stand there really quick. If I do this, that's not gonna combo.
Oh yeah.
Right? But if I actually Roman cancel it, now it combos because I'm regular speed and even his reeling is in slow motion. Yeah. So the slowdown really opens up a lot of windows for combos. So if I'm this far away, boom, I can get,
if you need that extra damage right away, then you go for it.
Again, a lot of people have mentioned, like, this is too free. Like, I mean, not too, bad Street Fighter.
Too free form?
Yeah, too free form. It lets me do whatever I want because, for example, even if I super, wrong button. If I super... and I hit you, I can Roman cancel and do combos. I can Roman cancel special moves and do kind of crazy stuff, So it's like, when do I use it? Like, how do I know where to use it? You'll learn.
Yeah, mostly I feel like it's character specific, and it's always about the situations you're in.
And a lot of and there's always going to be times where you can extend the combo with the Roman cancel and get big damage. And then you extend the Roman cancel and get nothing. So for the most part, if you are extending your Roman cancel, you get no damage off of it. It's probably not a good combo to use for Roman cancels. But one thing I should note is that when you Roman cancel, you'll notice something that you see a red circle coming around me, right? I can also make it so that I have a yellow circle. Whee! Or a purple circle. There you go. So I can do a purple circle like this. So what's the difference? There's actually 3 different Roman cancels in this game. There is the red Roman cancel, boom. There is the yellow Roman cancel, and as I said, purple Roman cancel. In general, there's a rule, and this is kind of how I explained it the first time, is that your move has startup, and then active frames, and then recovery. That's generally how it works, right? If you Roman cancel your move in startup, you get a yellow Roman cancel. Like that, right? Boom. Now, in general, if you Roman cancel during an active frame or recovery, you get the purple Roman cancel, right? So that's kind of how you know what the difference is. And
or when you will get it, basically.
Right. When you do a yellow Roman cancel, we can't see this here because Guilty Gear has no ability not to refill your meter, I think. Well, actually, what if I do it to 0 and I run forward? Let me see. So yellow Roman cancel takes 1 bar, 1 block.
25%.
25%.
Yeah,
of
usually
your
we
gauge.
just refer to it in percentages.
Right. And then purple Roman cancels can only be done if you have. Oh wow! 50%. I stopped gaining meter because I'm not.
Oh wow!
Dude, that actually counts as a backward movement. That's awesome. Cool. Okay. But if I do a purple Roman cancel, you see that it drains half of your meter. And the reason for that is because purple Roman cancels can be used to save your butt a lot. So let's say you try to super me like you do Ride the Lightning and I happen to jump over it and you're like, oh, oops, I missed. But, oh, wait, you'd have to build your bar to full. Yeah. Oh, there you go. Yeah. So if you did Ride the Lightning and I jump over it, you can purple Roman cancel to save yourself, you know. So purple Roman cancel usually a lot of times is to kind of save yourself. Yeah.
So if you I screwed up, I gotta get out of this situation.
Yeah.
So I did note here like the frames for those who understand frames at least.
Oh, okay.
Like the red Roman cancels there's startup for each of them. So red Roman, like you get 1 frame startup. So like you can pretty much do whatever you want right away. And the amount of slowdown you get is 60 frames. So that's why even though like you're reeling, like you can still like move around and it's still slow. Right. So that's a long time. For yellow you get 6 frames of startup. So if you hit me within the 6 frames, then you know I'm just gonna get hit.
Yeah, and you don't lose the meter either. So, well,
I don't know.
Like that, right there. So you were starting it right there. Yeah. You were starting it right there. You don't lose the meter in that situation. So
for that one, you get 18 frames of slowdown, and that's still quite a bit because there's a lot of tactics that the characters have where when you use the yellow Roman cancel, because of the slowdown, it makes them like super advantageous because of that. So it's really, really good.
Right.
And then the purple one is 15 frames of startup, and then it's 40 frames of slowdown. So it's still really good. You know, if you see the purple come out, you're pretty much relatively safe because of the slowdown.
Right.
So like it's definitely really useful, but you know obviously it's not meant for like. It's just to save your butt, basically, you know.
Right, so. And the purple one, since it has all that startup, like let's say you do the slide on me really quick, and then try to. Oh wait, no.
It'd be like instant, but.
Yeah, like if you do that, you're like if you try to save yourself, since it has 15 frames of startup, it's still really easy to hit you before you get it out, you know. But one thing I want to mention is, so we talked about what happens when you get the yellow Roman cancel. See, it's really hard to do on kick because active comes so fast, right? And we talked about purple, but when does red Roman cancel happen? And the time that red Roman cancel happen is as long as your opponent is in hit stun or block stun, you will get red Roman cancel. So boom, there you go. Or if I block, for example, you get a red Roman cancel. It's always a red Roman cancel so long as the opponent is in hit stun or block stun. Now, the reason why that's significant is because some characters, for example, like Soul, and this is kind of an exception to the rule. I mentioned how it's active frames and recovery frames. Some characters do have active frames that can still be yellow Roman canceled, right? So the fireball's out and I'm still getting the yellow Roman cancel. Same thing for my command throw. There's one active frame that can still be yellow Roman canceled, which will be patched out in 1.1
thankfully,
because it was cheap.
It's such a good option select.
But in general, so for example, like see how I do that, and that means I get to spend 1 bar for pressure. 1 block, 25% of my meter boom.
It's so good.
I chase after my fireball. Look at that. So I get
scary.
a lot of this offense, right? But block now. If I do that and he's in block stun, it's always gonna cost 2 bars.
Yeah.
It's always gonna be a red Roman cancel.
Or you could try to time it so that it's like you delay it a lot,
right?
So that they get out of block stun, and then but that's some tricky stuff. So, you know, you'll learn that as you try to master your characters when you know that the yellow one's gonna come out or the red one's gonna come out.
Exactly. And one thing I will mention is there are some... So on whiff, like I said, I can purple Roman cancel. There are some moves that you cannot Roman cancel on whiff, mostly uppercuts. So if I uppercut, yeah, do it again. You see that X appear on Kai? It's really hard to see, but you see that little X and that little red circle flips around him. Basically, most uppercuts, you can't save
YRC.
yourself, right?
Or PRC, yeah.
Yeah.
But you can RC them though.
Yes,
like
if it hits or if they're in blocks then. So, yeah, see like that, right? But dude, I found this totally awesome trick in the last episode. Try to do uppercut, FRC, like do it a little slower. Oops, I got hit. Like a little slower. Aha! You can't. If I actually alpha counter, I exit hit stun or block stun, so you can't FRC it anymore.
That's interesting.
You can't PRC it anymore, yeah. But I don't think it'll be that useful as you can see.
So the timing is so super specific and depends on the player.
It's never gonna come into play. But I just thought it was really cool that actually worked. So, but yeah, in general, so again, purple YRCs are to save yourself when you're whiffing. A lot, and this happens a lot too. Like, let's just say I throw a fireball like this, right? If I wait, see how it's a purple YRC, I'm sorry, a PRC later. So let's say I throw a fireball and he just happened to jump and air dash, and I'm like, oh crap, I gotta save myself. I'm gonna eat this combo, right? So PRCs are to save yourself. YRCs in general are for pressure. A lot of the times, and there's a lot of really evil option select things that you'll start learning depending on the character. And then red ones are usually for extending combos, or if they're blocking. So block really quick.
Or hold on, oh sorry, you told me to block.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like I said, if I'm willing to spend the meter, I can get the pressure. Kai can do the same thing.
Or if I do something like unsafe like that.
Yeah, and then you can go in and keep the pressure going and stuff like that. So Roman cancels really kind of are like the thing of Guilty Gear. They are what separates this game from a lot of the other games. Because what you'll start finding out is that because the use is so varied, you can use it in a lot of different situations for a lot of different reasons. The thing that makes it so that it, like I said, it sounds intimidating for a while. Like, my God, I can use this everywhere. But eventually, you really do start learning the standard places for your character that you use it.
Yeah. So those are like for when you see a lot of like top players, they'll use it very repeatedly for certain situations. But the cool thing about it also is that you can make your own identity with this too. You know, it's like, wow, this guy does this really crazy RC combo that's like, whoa, this is so sick. I would have never thought of this, you know? So like that's kind of where a lot of creativity comes in, and it makes it really fun, you know, because of that. Yeah,
so one of the things that Radamashera here says in chat, very true, this is a high-level tactic. You can also use YRCs as a preview.
Yeah, neutral.
To see what they're going to do. And since it slows it down, remember how we said the 6P, you have to do it early enough, otherwise I can land and block it. Like, do it super late, right? So if you do it super late, I should be able to land and block it. Like that, right? So if I jump and YRC, I can make his 6P like a little slower almost.
Yeah.
Like, you'll actually see a lot of people do that. And see,
whoa.
Now I get in, right? You'll also see a lot of people do it off of air dash. And you see how I keep the momentum?
And you'll start, falling down
and you start falling down towards them. And then if they try to 6P, it's too late and you can get in. So it's actually a really good get-in tactic that Potemkin doesn't have. So
no, you could do the flying.
Oh
attack. So you still got it. And then you can also do off a backdash too.
Yeah.
Which you get some tricky stuff off of.
Yeah, I should probably mention that you can YRC anytime you want. So you can YRC like this.
YRC party.
Yeah. But one thing to note about that though is don't double tap YRCs. Because sometimes if you do it too fast, you'll end up spending 2 meters.
Yeah. Because you can do it anytime you want.
I hate it when I do that. I also do it another time when I flip in the air. Because I used to flip with 3 buttons.
Oh, yeah.
So I would flip and then YRC right away. I'm like, no, I spent my meter, valuable meter. So, yeah. So, that's Roman cancels. Super, super important. And then before we get into some more of the defensive options, I always consider Roman cancels and bursts kind of like 2 of the main things to talk about. So let's talk a little bit about burst. If you look up on the top corners of the screen, you'll see the character portraits there that say burst. And this is actually one of the systems that's common with all of the... you can turn it. Oh, that's hit point regen, not super meter regen. Psych burst default. So what you'll actually notice is that this is universal system across all of the Axis games.
Or yeah,
Guilty Gear,
Heavy
Blitz,
bursts.
Blue, and Persona. Although they do act a little differently depending on the game, but they all have this burst mechanic. Oh wow, I can't even reset you to start with full. So basically, what is burst? Now, we mentioned. Oh, totally forgot to mention this. To do a Roman cancel.
Oh yeah.
Hit 3 buttons at the same time that are not dust.
That doesn't include dust.
That does not include dust.
So you could do these 3, or these 3.
Yeah, one of the things that you start figuring out though is that there was it does have higher priority, so it won't do the blitz shield. Okay. Yeah, so it's any 3 buttons that is not dust. As long as you do those combinations, you can get an RC, and that's the same for PRC, YRC, and red Roman cancel. It's the same on every single one of them.
Yeah.
So
personally, I usually like to do punch, kick, slash for like all of my. For mine.
That's the standard, I think. That's because it's just the easiest to hit. You just tap that really quick.
But there might be like some maybe like Eddie players that might have to do it differently because of how the character works and stuff like that. So that's something to note. So
right. Okay. So back to burst. To burst, hit any button plus dust. Any one button plus dust. So it can be punch. Oh, you don't have it right now.
But
so I can hit punch and dust. Here, let me turn it back to infinite. So I can hit punch and dust, kick and dust, slash and dust, and heavy slash and dust. They will all do bursts. Now there's 2 different kinds of bursts. There's a gold burst, and then there's also a blue burst. So those are the 2 kind of bursts. And gold bursts are usually more considered kind of like a
offensive type of thing.
Offensive. The best way to put it is a lot of the times it's like I really need to win. I need to hit him with the gold burst, and we'll explain that in a second. But and then the blue burst is anytime I'm in hit stun or block stun, basically it's a blue burst, and it's a combo breaker. So if I'm getting hit, I can get out of a combo by doing a blue burst. Boom, like that, and I can hit the opponent, knock him a screen away, and I save myself from a ton of damage. Or if I'm getting too pressured in the corner and I really don't like this pressure, I can burst while I'm blocking, push him a screen away like that. Now, blue burst, once you hit him with it, you push him across the screen. It's pretty much all you get out of it. Yeah. Right?
There's no combos off of it.
And not only that, but technically, blue burst is not... Blue burst is punishable on the way down. So see how he comes up and then comes down. The blue burst is actually punishable. Whoops! Sorry, I hit the wrong buttons. The blue burst is actually punishable on the way down. So if I do a blue burst too late and he blocks, he can actually hit me fast enough.
Yeah, usually you want to you do air hits.
Yeah, or try to hit him out of the air really quick. Yeah, like that. So
something like that.
On the way down, he's punishable. So one of the things that people get really good at in this game is burst baiting. So basically, for example, let's say you always do kick slash, heavy slash, right? Like that, right? And you think I'm gonna burst, so then you don't do heavy slash. Yeah. Instead, you just wait, and then you can actually air block it and punish, or do all sorts of things. Or if you're really cool, on the way up, bursts can be air thrown.
It's hard to do with Kai.
Yeah.
Let's try one last time.
Oops.
Alright, let's see if I can do this. Steal your soul. Yeah!
There it is, right there. So you throw him out of that. So that's actually really huge, because one of the things you'll notice about burst is when it's full and I burst, it drains. And I don't have my burst anymore. The way burst builds up in the game is just throughout the course of the game as you're doing stuff, it just builds up. As you're getting hit, as I'm hitting them, burst builds up. And it stays that way between rounds. So in other words, if it's empty and I die, the next round I come back, it's exactly where it was. It's really, really important to maintain your burst. So one of the things you don't want to do is burst at the end of a combo because you've already taken all your damage and you just wasted your burst, right? Well, also, another thing that I want to mention, so burst out of my combo really quick. If you notice, the burst drained him down to B.
Yeah, to the B.
So the B is the B always full? Because if you
I don't know.
Because I could have swore if you do gold burst, whoops.
Yeah, I think it starts off.
Oh yeah, so it's always at B then. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, I know in Persona, like if you do the gold burst, you get more.
Yeah. Burst actually just builds up during the course of the game. I'm just standing here and it's building up right there. Yeah, so. But yeah, if you get a chance to air throw a burst, like.
You feel like amazing. You feel amazing.
someone, I think, was it Beautiful Dude or somebody was telling me that it's basically referred to as stealing your soul.
Yeah, because in the trials it says steal his soul or something like that. That's where it came from.
Okay, yeah. Because if you grab their burst, that is just like you read them perfectly and you feel so good.
Yeah.
Because what happens is some moves are jump cancelable, like slash is jump cancelable, right? Oops. So if you know it's jump cancelable, then you can cancel into the jump and get the air throw, and it feels so good. And I have yet to ever do this in a real battle. I haven't done this yet.
I've done it once. I was like, yes, I'm the
best. It's so good. It's so good. It feels great.
And
but high level tactic, throwing burst, high level tactic. In fact, when you first play the game, pretend there's no such thing as burst baiting or whatever. Just play your game, do your combos, let them burst out of it, whatever. Right.
Make them waste it by doing too much damage to them, basically.
Exactly. You have to consider it a win that you got them to burst. Another thing I wanted to mention, so I mentioned between rounds the burst stays the same. Mm-hmm. We forgot to mention super meter. You always start the round with 0 super meter.
Every round.
If you have a full bar and you're like about to die, start YRCing and supers and do everything you can to try to make a comeback, because if you die, you start the next round with 0 meter. Mm-hmm. Always.
And also to note, gold burst, if you hit them with it, you get a full stick of butter.
So let's do tension gauge 0. So so there we go.
Boom.
So this is why I kind of considered it a little bit of I need a comeback kind of desperation. If you can bait them, wrong button. If you can bait them so that you hit them with the gold burst, you get all your meter, and now I have all this utility. And like I said, you don't carry it over to the next round,
mm-hmm.
so you are really betting a lot.
Mm-hmm.
This is the closest thing to a Guilty Gear comeback mechanic, which is so not a good comeback mechanic, because you
lose your burst,
and you can't combo into a burst. So even if I had a full burst here, I cannot chain into a burst.
Yeah.
So there's literally no way to combo into a burst.
Yeah, it's usually a big read, but a lot of times the easiest thing to do is just run really close to them and just burst, because they're like, oh shoot, I'm gonna hit you with a button.
I want to try something really quick. I just want to see something really quick. I can't even combo off of a wall stick. It won't even let you. So
there's no combos.
Burst, you cannot combo and gain meter for free that way.
Yeah, so just run up burst. It works probably 4 out of 5 times.
Right. The nice thing about trying to risk the gold burst, though, is that you're actually invincible on the way up and on the way down. So if I burst, just try to hit me afterwards, out of the air. Don't block it. Stay a little further away. See? Right there. It just goes right through me. You cannot hit him. However, gold burst can be air thrown. So if you know the guy's going to run up to you and try to gold burst you, and you totally read it, you can actually try to get him with an air throw.
Let's see if I do this. No.
There you go. And if you throw a gold burst, that is the ultimate demoralization right there. Yeah, so that's really, really good. So, that's how burst works. So there's only 2 kinds of burst. There's blue burst and gold burst. Gold burst if you are in neutral, and blue burst if you are in hit stun or block stun. And again, you cannot gold burst in the middle of any move. You just have to be free to do any action. So you can do it during an air dash, for example. like that.
Double gold burst.
You can do it during there. You can do it during high jumps and stuff like that. And also another thing I should probably bring up is that you notice how I go up and then I burst? So let's say you do crouching fears. Hit me out of the air with this. Like hit me out of the air with crouching fears. Well, don't even jump.
Okay.
Just don't even jump. Like there are times that you can do really bad bursts.
Yeah.
The entire way you're coming down, you know, you're vulnerable if it's a blue burst. So there's such thing as really bad bursts.
Yeah.
There are some characters that while they're hitting you and you burst, it's just a bad idea.
In the community, they call it a Domi burst.
A Domi burst?
Domi, D-O-M-I, because there's a
okay.
player named Domi, and he's very known for just like, boom, okay.
Thanks for spending
Domi
your burst. Let me kill you now.
So if you ever hear that on the stream, just know that means it was an extremely terrible burst.
Awesome, that's awesome. Domi. That sucks for Domi.
Yeah, and he still does it.
Oh man. Yeah, one thing I do want to mention is that while you're bursting, it doesn't count as hit stun or block stun, so that will produce a YRC. So there's like these crazy option selects.
Yeah.
I go over detail in the execution, and I don't really want to go over detail.
Yeah, I
here.
don't think we need to talk about too much about options, those like, advanced options.
Yeah, because that's going away in 1.1 as well.
Yeah.
Once 1.1 comes out, burst will be considered hit stun, so it'll always be a red burst that way. So.
Canadian burst? I don't know.
But yeah, example. That's a great example. Radamashira says that don't burst against Axel because he has long range combos. He's like hitting you like with long range move because he's the Dulcim of the game.
Well, you just gotta know when to burst against certain characters too.
Yeah, a lot of characters like for example, like let's say you do let's say I do an uppercut, right? So a lot of people will wait. Why am I so bad at this? Well, they'll wait till see like the first hit of the uppercut.
Oh yeah.
Because then you know you can. Well, maybe his uppercut's a bad example.
Well, no, because what I see a lot of advanced players do, like they'll hit me with the Grand Viper.
Oh yeah, this dude. Yeah.
Or it's like, so you do it to the point where it's like.
Right, and then you can punish on the way down.
Try to punish
if you
them on
time
the way
it
down.
properly. Yeah. But a lot of times, like for example, if I have a 2-hit move or something like that, like standing kick, you'll wait till you see those moves to burst because that way you know that people aren't going to be trying to burst bait you, you know. And
certain moves that you want to just do it on because it's like they committed, so it's like there's no way they can bait you basically.
Yeah, I mean Radamashira, he's been putting a lot of good information in the chat, so I appreciate that.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
So that's burst and Roman cancels. So we should probably start going into all the defensive options now, which there's a lot of defensive options.
I mean, so I think what we're gonna do is we're not gonna give you guys everything. we're gonna talk about the really more important ones, and then like we'll kind of there's a list there too, and then you can kind of like look them up and see how you can use them. So.
For sure we'll describe all of them, but we won't go into super details about a lot of them.
So because I mean, since we're helping to get you guys like your feet wet, we just want to give you like a couple of tools, and then just like work with those.
Otherwise, we're gonna be like, here's this and here's this. You should learn how to just defend. Faultless defense, and then you should blitz shield and this. You don't want that kind of thing.
So.
But we'll take a quick break real quick, and then when we come back, we'll start going over the defensive options. So, be right back.